Hello, everyone, and welcome to Buy Bags. I'll be your reviewer for today. I'm Lonnie from Horror Heaven77, and here it is. It's theme week. First of all, though, yesterday was Thanksgiving, and I just want to say I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday. I hope you're all safe. I hope you're all healthy. I hope everybody had a wonderful time. I hope everybody had a good meal, ate too much. I just hope everybody's, fat, healthy, and comfortable, you know, living the good life. So, a happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Okay, now on with the video. All right, so this week our theme is heaven and hell, and I couldn't get away without talking about this. I know there's a bunch of movies that I could have reviewed, but I just this is I had to take the chance. I had to do this. This is absolutely one of my favorite shows of all time, and what I want to talk about is the show Lucifer. Now, I know there are people out there who are going to hate me for this, but I got all the seasons, one, two, three, picked up four recently. And now, I've already binge watched all the episodes of season five that they just put on Netflix. But, oh God, this show is so good. It's a lot of fun. Yes, it's very much heaven versus hell. There is horror elements to it. Of course, being a TV show, it's not gory. There's not a lot of over the top blood and carnage all over the place, but it's a very fun show. There is definitely a horror element to it, but there's also kind of a crime TV show element to it. If you don't know what the show is, basically, okay, we know the story, that Lucifer, is the ruler of hell, and that he, punishes all the evil people who do all the bad things. And so eventually that's the thing, it's like, if that was me, like if my job for all of eternity was to punish, all the serial killers, rapists, child molesters, like if that was my job, that'd be fun. I'd love to do that. Hell, sign me up for that. But anyway, at one point, Lucifer, he decides that he's tired of this, and he's tired of the fact that his father God, basically put him in this position, and that he didn't want to be the ruler of hell, and so he decides he's done with it. He wants to take pretty much an extended vacation. Um, he kind of has it set up to where, if he ever wanted to, he could go back. But, he comes to Los Angeles and he decides he doesn't want to. And he brings his bodyguard, Maze. And let's see if I can show you a picture. Okay. Yeah, there's Maze right there. And so in the beginning, in the first episode, he's talking to this girl that he did favors for. There's kind of a difference. Okay. Usually if somebody, Lucifer doesn't really do in this show, he doesn't really do the whole thing of like, if he grants you a favor that you have to give him your soul. You do have to pay him back in some way, but like this one girl, she comes up to him, she's a rising pop star, and she's done some shady things she knows she shouldn't have done. And so she's talking to Lucifer, and she's all like, I know you and I made a deal. And she's like, I guess that means I owe you my soul or something like that. And he's like, no. He's all like, how you pay me back? Get your shit together. Get your life back in order. Stop making dumb mistakes. Start using your brain. That's what you do. That's how you pay me back. If you really want to, if you really want to keep this deal going, you want things to go good, just be a good person. Get your act together. That's the kind of thing. And so they're walking down the street while a drive-by shooting occurs, and the girl is shot dead. And so Lucifer, he's very upset because this girl was a friend of his, and he really liked her and cared about her. And that's one thing on this show. Tom Ellis, who plays Lucifer, in my opinion, he's fantastic. I know I've had people really fight with me on this on social media. I've had people unfriend me because I like this show. I've had people just get downright nasty with me about it and just, hate it and hate me for liking it and all this other kind of stuff. But Tom Ellis, I think he's wonderful. He keeps your interest. And, and that was like one of the things everybody's talking about, like in this show, Lucifer, he's funny and he's charming and he's likable. That's not the devil. It's all like, no, actually, that would, just my opinion, that sounds like that would totally be the devil, because wouldn't his whole thing be that, he's trying to seduce you into liking him, into trusting him, into, doing what he wants you to do? Like, wouldn't that be what Satan or Lucifer would do? I think if Lucifer's plan, was to come at you and say, hey, I want you to sell your soul to me, or I want you to do what I want you to do. I don't think he's going to come at you by scaring the ever-loving hell out of you. No pun intended, but I don't think he's going to come at you by scaring you to death. He's going to come at you, he's going to charm you. He's going to tempt you. That's what he would do. And that's the way Tom Ellis plays him on the show. He doesn't play him like overly evil and threatening from the second you meet him, But anyway, so he's upset because this woman friend of his got killed. He wants to find out who did it. Now we're introduced to our female lead character on the show, Detective Chloe Decker, played by Lauren German. Two things. Lauren German, she's really, really good on this show. This is the kind of show, honestly, you have a lot. Okay, people talk about, they're getting upset about diversity in movies and TV and stuff like that. This is where diversity is done perfectly, done flawlessly. Okay, you have Lucifer is your main character. You have Detective Chloe Decker. You have Amenadiel, who's basically God's right hand, God's son, an angel, his kind of right hand. Let's see here. We have Mace, who is, a woman of color. She's incredibly strong. She has moments of emotion, but I mean, that's the thing. You sympathize with her, you get into the characters on the show. You have Dr. Linda, who, one of the funniest things on the show is that she's a therapist, and at first Lucifer goes to see her because he wants to find out, like, because see, here's the thing. I know I'm kind of going all over the place. It's a big, long show. At first he goes to Dr. Linda and he wants to get information from her, because the problem is from the minute that he meets Chloe is like the one woman that he tries to seduce that she rejects him. She has, she can refuse him. And the thing is, it's like, he's never met a woman who could refuse him. Every woman that he's ever met, he's been able to, if he wanted to, he could seduce her without even trying. And Chloe is like the first time he's ever met a woman who he cannot just seduce her. And so he goes to Dr. Linda. And then the funny part is that when he goes to Dr. Linda wanting answers, instead of paying money, which he's got more money than he could ever spend. Because I mean, Lucifer, he's running a nightclub, he's living the good life, all this other kind of stuff. And so he's got more money than he knows what to do with. But instead of paying in money, he pays Dr. Linda with sex, but he's trying to find out, like, why is she like not into me and stuff like that. And later on, there are some flaws though in the storytelling, because what ends up, I'm going to give away a tiny spoiler here, but what ends up happening is in the show, basically Chloe, we come to find out that Chloe kind of has a power to her. As the show progresses, we find out that there's more and more to her character. That in the first episode, though, they do make a flaw, because in the first episode, at one point, Chloe gets shot, and Lucifer, uses himself as a shield to protect her, and so he's getting shot, but it's not hurting him. He's, for the most part, he's invincible. You can shoot him, you can stab him, you can run him over with a car, do all this other kind of stuff, because he's not human, he's a demon. It has no effect on him. But as the show progresses, then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, they decided to put in this element of Chloe now has this effect on him that he's invincible except when she's around. And so it doesn't make sense from a storytelling standpoint, because in the first episode, wait a minute, he's getting shot left and right, but it has no effect on him. Now all of a sudden, now all of a sudden when Chloe's around, he's weak. That makes no sense. So there are some, admittedly, there are some there are some flaws in the storytelling, but at the same time, though, to in my personal opinion, it's not really enough to completely take you out of the show. But so anyway, so he decides that he wants to find out who killed this woman friend of his, and so he decides he's going to team up with Chloe, who one of the things that's really great about this show is pretty much just about every character on this show. You know, there's no black or white. There's no ultimate good. There's no ultimate bad. Pretty much everybody on this show is kind of shades of gray. Like, is he on? Yeah, there's Dan, who Lucifer lovingly always calls him Detective Douche, but he's actually Chloe's ex-husband. And so Lucifer, like, for one thing, Lucifer's upset because he always sees Dan as kind of a threat. He's always irritated by Dan. He doesn't like him. He makes it very clear that he doesn't like Dan, particularly the fact that he was able to, at one point, be with Chloe, where Lucifer is trying really hard to be with Chloe, but he cannot. But Dan, we find out, he has moments of, even though he's always walking that line, he's always trying to be a good cop, but he does have his moments where he does take some crooked paths. And I'm not going to get into it, but, and then like Lucifer, obviously he's the devil, so obviously he's a flawed character. Amenadiel, who is Lucifer's brother, he comes down from heaven, and basically in the beginning of the series, pretty much Amenadiel's whole thing is that he's basically sent by God, the Father, to tell Lucifer to go back to rule hell. That's what he's supposed to be doing. That's his job. That's what the Father assigned him to do. And Lucifer keeps, no, 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 I'm not going to do it. And so at which point, Amenadiel kind of starts doing some underhanded, shady tricks to try to get Lucifer to go back to hell. But they do have their moments. The chemistry between Lucifer and Amenadiel is amazing. These two actors work really well off each other. They do a great job together. And they do have their moments where, they have fun banter. They have moments of drama. They scream, they fight, fist fight each other, stuff like that. But then they have moments of showing like a real brother relationship. And they help each other out even when they don't want to, and things like that. So there is, a really good chemistry between these two actors. Now, Chloe, one thing I love about Chloe, the character of Chloe, she's not a Mary Sue. She's a very strong, opinionated, straightforward cop, but she does have flaws. She makes mistakes. Like, for example, before she became a cop, it turns out that her father, who is actually, I can't remember the actor's name, but he was Lewis from the movie The Last Exorcism. Her father was a cop, and her mother is actually played on the show by Rebecca De Mornay. Her mother was an actress. And so in the beginning, we find out that before she became a cop, Chloe actually decided to become a movie star, try to be a movie star like her mother. And she ended up doing movies where she did nudity, and she kind of compromised her principles and compromised her morals and things like that. And she wasn't very happy about that. So, and then, we find out that she's made mistakes with, like, in her job. We find out she's not a perfect cop. She'll stumble and fall every now and again. She's trying to be a good mother. She's a single mother trying to raise her daughter because her and Dan are divorced. Also, too, that show's kind of a flaw when you see, like, when you watch the show and you see the character that Dan can be sometimes, that also kind of shows you, like, okay, well, that's one flaw Chloe has is, her taste in men. And, she's trying her best to be a good mom to her daughter, Trixie, which it's really fun because Lucifer he very begrudgingly cannot stand Chloe's daughter. So he's always treating her like a dog. So it's like the little girl adores him. She's always coming out, oh, Lucifer, so good to see you. And he's like takes her stuffed animal or something. Here, fetch, or something, because he doesn't like kids that much. But the funny part is, though, too, is like even Maze, she, like Maze is basically, her character is she's the ultimate, like, Hell's warrior. Like she is Lucifer's right hand. He they're play, and that's one of the things about Lucifer. Lucifer, there are a lot of times Lucifer cannot handle a situation, and so he needs Maze to come in and handle it for him. And Maze, majority of the time, she always finds the answer. She always handles it. So, yeah, but but I would say if Maze has a particular flaw is the fact that any wind can blow her. She's very easily swayed. So there are moments on the show where, like, she can be easily manipulated by somebody. Like somebody, like, there are points where even a Amenadiel comes along and he could tell her something, and then it's like she starts, questioning her allegiance to Lucifer and stuff like that. But usually for the most part, she's always got his back. And then, unfortunately, it's not until season 2. I don't think they show the. Oh, let's see here. No, they don't show the character. I don't think. Oh yeah, they do. Okay, we bring in the character of. I forget the character's name now, but Miss Lopez, who is kind of interesting though too. I kind of like her character because her and Lucifer they kind of bounce off of each other because it's funny because Lucifer, the devil, but Miss Lopez, her whole thing is she's a very devout Christian or Catholic, and so she's very much into God. She's very much into heaven. She's very much a believer and everything. But even still, in the series, there are moments where even she has her moments of doubt. So overall, that's kind of the thing. The characters are incredibly interesting because, like I said, there really is no like straight good, straight bad. Everybody on this show has flaws. Everybody on this show makes mistakes. But still, and but what ends up happening, I keep going off track, and I know I'm sorry about this. I know this review's all over the place, but ultimately, what ends up happening is that Lucifer ends up teaming up with Chloe to start solving homicides, and so pretty much just about every episode is them trying to solve a new case, and the fun part about that is that at first, Lucifer just wants to do it just so that he can get close to Chloe. He just does it because he wants to get Chloe into bed. But at the same time, he starts to realize, hey, wait a minute, you know what? Which I think is funny, but it's like, hey, you know what? It's like my job is punishing the innocent. And that's what the detective does. And the majority of the time, he never calls her Chloe or Decker or any of that. He always calls her detective. But he's all like, the detective, she's always doing that too. She's always like trying to she's trying to punish the guilty. So it's like her and I working together would be perfect. So those are kind of the two main reasons that he ends up helping her solve crimes. And a lot of the times he doesn't always help her, but one of the things too, I think is interesting is like, I will probably say this though, if you're a very devout Christian or devout Catholic or whatever, you're probably not going to like this show because as the show progresses, one thing that ends up happening is the show does try to paint Lucifer as the main character. If there is a hero on the show, he's pretty much it. And we end up in later seasons, we have like the Archangel Gabriel, who I think it was played by Dean Cain, from, what was it? Lois and Clark, I think it was. Dean, he played Superman in one of those shows. But at one point he comes in and that, we come to find out that he's actually a bad guy up to some bad stuff. And even in the most recent season, season 5, Tom Ellis is playing two characters. He's playing Lucifer, but he's also playing the Archangel Michael. And one thing that ends up happening on the show is that, the angels, who are supposed to be the good characters, kind of start being painted as more villainous. So it's kind of like, so if you don't like the idea of a show where Lucifer is kind of shown to be this kind of, he's kind of more common sense. He's kind of more, in a way, moral than angels like Gabriel or Michael or something. If that offends you, then yeah, you're not going to really dig this show. It's not going to be for you. But ultimately, the show, it's a lot of fun. It's, there's some really great dark humor in it. The women are gorgeous in this show. I mean, that's one thing. If you like gorgeous women, you're gonna love this. I mean, just look at Lauren German right there. Stunning. Like there's The show has plenty of beautiful women. If you're a woman, there's plenty of handsome men in the show. So it's got a little something for everybody. I think that's one of the things I love about this show too. It's not strictly for a male audience. It's not strictly for a female. It's got something for everybody. And that's what I love about the show too. But it's a lot of fun, a lot of dark humor. If you like kind of like detective stories, which I do, I like detective stories, and but you like it with kind of a horror spin to it. And there are horrific elements on the show. You do see demons, you do see fights between heaven and hell, things like that. If you like it, then I would definitely say, yeah, give Lucifer a watch. And this was a show, I admit, I did not think I was going to like it, but oh yeah, as soon as I started watching, I was instantly hooked. Tom Ellis he's fabulous. He's wonderful. I just watched him in a series on Amazon Prime. I think it's The Secrets of Crickley Hall. Not his finest moment, but still did a really good job. Lauren German, she's amazing. She does a great job. Not just because she's beautiful, she's genuinely a really good actress on this show. Everybody on the show delivers. There's nobody bad on the show. Everybody works, and I can't say enough about it. Yeah, I mean, I could, but we're gonna be here all day. The video is already over 20 minutes. I know I've gone on way too long as it is, but that's it. So yeah, I highly recommend it. If you just want like a good fun show, kind of who done it murder mysteries with a horror kind of a horror spin to it, a dark comedy spin to it, I would definitely say give Lucifer a watch. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, if anybody took the time to, I'm sorry this video is so long, but if anybody took the time to watch all this, I thank you for doing it, and I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the Body Bags channel. We have a different reviewer for every day of the week. I'm the Friday reviewer. We have different guys. Everybody's doing all great stuff, and that's pretty much it. Again, I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday, a wonderful Thanksgiving, and take care, everybody. Have a good night, and I'll see you later.